Hello everybody, and welcome to, I don't know, the Mathpig show, or my channel, the shitstorm, whatever you want to call it. Gibbler, Doorknob, Spartan, Vibrantly Brantley. Thank you very much for turning up. Wonder Lady's here as well, and yeah, everybody. Hi! Tonight we have Christy, which is probably why you are all here, and my wonderful voice. And yeah, Christy, if you want to introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, what you're doing, and all that buzz and all that stuff.
I will. My name is Christy Santiago. Christine, actually, is what my mother named me, but I go by Christy. I am 1/3 of the Leah Podcast on Friday nights on YouTube. Mac, the Gray Skeptic, is my co-host, and our Lord and Savior is Not Jah Witness, who actually, if it wasn't for him, I mean, Mac and I are, and when you look up tech illiterate, I guess, is a picture of Mac and I. So without him, I'm sure Faye, who is in the chat, could also tell you, like, if it wasn't for her, I would have never even been able to do the This Is Our America series that I did on her channel, which is still my favorite.
I feel awful now for Natcha, because the first line of the description is, "This is Cristiano, one half of the Leah broadcast," and then there's Gray Skeptic, but you're a third.
Right. Well, he's the Lord is unseen, so he remains unseen like any Lord would be.
Ah, he's in the background.
Yes, he does. He makes sure that we happen, and then puts us on mute and probably plays his games while we're live, and waits till he hears me say the goodbye slogan, and hurries up and great show, guys.
Oh, well, that's good. It's good that he got his new computer.
It is. He's having a lot of fun with it. He's been able to. We changed back to Google Hangouts, and we're doing different things just because he couldn't try new things on the last computer. It would have shit on him. So you could just tell he's really excited, and he deserves it, man. He helps everyone. Every time I talk to someone, they know who he is. And it's unfortunate. It's shitty, actually. That's what I'm going to say. It's shitty that he's so undersubbed. He really should
I think the thing that stopped him from being undersubbed, I do believe, was the uploading of what looked like live videos but weren't live videos, and it wouldn't give the interaction and stuff. But now that he has the new computer, definitely, if he's willing to stay up some morning or get up really early, I know our time zones, I think he's 8 hours ahead of me, which is really shit.
Yeah.
A friend of mine,
he actually lives in the future, you guys.
Yes, yeah. I don't know if you've seen in your chat or turns up in yours. Do you know of Remember Sammy JENKINS?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and him are very, very good buddies, and he's in Australia, obviously, as well. So, ex-Jehovah Witness, not, and you see, he's waking up, and it's me going to bed, and just trying to communicate it. It can be very difficult, like. But yeah,
there's actually a lot of Aussies in our community.
Yes.
Which I think is awesome. I think the more people from more places across the planet involved in our community, the better it's going to be.
We even have Russell Crowe.
Yeah, we do.
The atheist pastor, if anyone doesn't know.
I'm shedding on myself.
The atheist pastor really does look like Russell Crowe.
I could never commit a crime. Because my DNA, this is everywhere. I would not get away with it. They'd be like, Exhibit A.
You could do what I do and just shave the head. Just shave the head. Go completely bald. I used to have long hair. And
my security blanket, I think.
Oh, I went from long hair to my shoulders to completely bald because my forehead became like a 6 head.
He had a 5-head.
Oh no, it was worse than a 5-head. I was in denial for a while, for a long time, and then went the complete opposite direction.
It's good that you acknowledge it, because there are people that, you know, live in denial and they part it here and just comb it over.
Oh no, I was slick Tony. I had it pulled back for years. I had it pulled back in a ponytail for work and stuff like that. As a weird note, which I don't know, some people think it's weird, some people don't. Whenever I got my haircut, the first thing I did was chop the ponytail off, obviously. And
Wow.
I kept the ponytail, and I have it in a picture frame with my daughter's first haircut and a wee chunk of her hair.
It's precious.
Yeah, I think it's precious. Like, there's where daddy's last bit of hair, and there's the daughter's first bit of hair.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
You're very proud, Daddy.
Some people think it's really
pretty
weird. It's like,
No.
why did you keep your hair? What? Why? You put it in a picture frame? It's literally over with the family photos. There's like one of my mum, one of my dad, one of my stepdad, and then the hair.
And then the hair.
And then the hair. Right. So, okay.
Well,
Right.
I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I've been doing hair for almost 15 years now. So I've seen all types of foreheads. I've seen one heads, 2 heads, 4 heads, 5 heads, 6 heads, on men and women, and even children. So
Yeah, I really hope that my wee girl does not get blessed with my forehead.
probably she won't. Girls have different, you know, even if we look like our fathers, which I am a spitting image of my dad, Chester Ballinger, who is in a lot of the chats that I'm in. He shows up to support me, which is totally awesome. But I look just like him, but I also look like the girl version of him, which is, you know, smaller forehead,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
delicate fingers. So
Well, mine
Yes,
got
that-
my ginger hair. My wee girl is as ginger as the sun, which is, I don't even call it ginger. It's sunburst orange. I call it sunburst orange. It is fucking beautiful.
that's awesome. Redheads are even though because there's 7 billion people.
There's a feedback coming from you. You've got feedback. I'm hearing whining.
Feedback.
I can't hear Christy.
What about now? What about now?
You're very quiet.
I'm quiet.
And there's a whining in the background. Is that just me or anyone in the chat hear that?
Let's see. Does anybody else hear? Doorknob head, you're hilarious.
Yeah, doorknob head's great.
Yes. He lightens every single chat. I've had days where I don't even want to go online. I'm like, ugh. But then I see him and I know I'm gonna laugh.
I think doorknob head can hear it because he says the NSA is attacking.
It is the NSA. I know it. It's the government.
Yeah, it's bad, Spartan. Okay, they can hear it. I'm going to jump out and jump back, and then you can do the same, possibly.
Very bad. It's painful. Oh, Alias said. Okay, you want me to jump out?
Yeah, you do it, and then I'll do.
Okay. Copy that, Captain.
Okay. Oh, that's definitely not me. Thank goodness for that. I'm just one big glowing head now. That was actually making my ears sore and my eyes water. I don't know about anyone else. Stream's not over. She's back.
Yay! I did it all by myself.
Yep. Perfect. Everything's good. No whining now. No nothing. It was really high pitched. It was like making my ears nearly bleed. Not really bleed, but it was aiming that direction. Anyway, well, that's a good way for us to get back on track where I try and not tangent and go mad. And yeah. What about the Iowa caucus?
Oh, God.
That's the first thing I wanted to ask you, because I do follow a wee bit of American politics. I've been following since just before 2016. So, you know, the whole Trump thing and all that. And then I got not addicted to it, but it's better than a sitcom. I stopped even watching UK news. It's hilarious.
It is. And, you know, every country has something to gain or lose by American elections. All of them. So I think it's almost imperative to know what's going on in American elections, because it does touch your country. It does touch your location in some way or form, even if it's just foreign policy or trade agreements.
Yeah, well, the one that would affect me most is house prices. you know, what would happen. Would it be something happening in 2008? Me and my woman, as we said before, hoping to do the house up. And the question is in the air, do we sell the house and rent for a year and wait for the thing to crash and then get a cheaper house, you know, a bigger house for cheaper?
Right.
Or do we take the chance and buy a house and then maybe get stuck with negative equity? You know, and what do we do? And my woman looks at me and goes, I don't know. But yeah, you know, it's worthwhile watching. So I do have a bit of interest in it. I'm not too sure in what way the caucuses work. I do understand the point of them. But the app failed?
The app was not tested at scale. It was tested with, I think, like under 11% of what actually came through the app. There was a toll-free number. So if you were like me and you were watching, waiting, anticipating the answer coming through last night.
Yeah, I went to bed and woke up with no result. And it was like, what?
None. Yes, with none. What happened then when the app failed, all of the caucused areas started calling this toll-free number. And some of these volunteers were on the phone for 2 hours to get hung up on. So it was a shit show. And tonight is State of the Union address by Trump. And you know he's going to bring in these Democrats over here are idiots.
Yeah.
That's what he's going to say.
Yeah, well, that was the whole rush to get the impeachment trial finished for today for that, like, which was another absolute
entertainment.
Yeah, complete another entertainment. You know, they're in denial. You watch the speeches and the Trump's lawyers are just, I don't know, obviously, you know, you would consider yourself left. Are you a dirty communist? Are you?
I would say, considering the way that a bulk of uninformed, uneducated Americans think and feel, yes, I am.
Dirty. Like,
but when it comes to actual, you know, the theory of communism and all that, I do favor a lot of those policies. But I also favor a mixed economy. You know, I don't want it one or the other. I like a healthy mix. The Scandinavian model is what I'm looking at.
Oh, it's definitely worthwhile. Like, you know, just to annoy, I was a wee bit to annoy, but a wee bit in agreement. There was a doctor that came into work, and I would be chatty, you know, and we're chatting away and stuff, and we're talking a wee bit about politics. Well, not politics, you know, the economy and just what's happening and stuff. And this guy's a doctor. He owns horses. He has a Mercedes. You know, he rolling in the money. And he turned to me and he goes, would you consider yourself a socialist then? And I goes, well, I don't know if I would be, but the more I read Karl Marx, the more I agree with him. He got into his car and drove off. He ended the conversation. Like,
wow.
Because I'm a dirty commie, you know.
But that's a very uninformed mind that would do that. Because someone who is informed, they know without a shadow of a doubt that Marx wasn't for policies. He was against certain things. He criticized capitalism. So, I mean, what I think holds water to this day was his criticisms of capitalism. They hold true more today than ever before. It's almost like what he said will happen is happening.
Yeah, people get greedy. It's the same with you know, the idea of communism, that the man at the top is supposed to vanish. And
right.
He
that's
never
why
does.
I don't think there should be a man at the top.
Yeah, well, that's the same thing with capitalism. It's just got lots of men at the top, all being drove by money, and they've ended up in power.
If you like history like me, I that's one of my favorite things to learn about, to read about. I would say it's the favorite thing. We had monarchies, and then from monarchies, you know, we kind of let that spread out to a few more people, and you know, and then we let that spread out to a few more people, and then we let that spread out to a few more people. That's all that it is the same process spread out to a few more people, because they knew if they kept it so that king, queen, and their family only, except for a few of the, you know, nobility around them, that there would be riots, that the pitchforks would come. So they had to open it up. And so that's what we're living in right now. And I know that sounds hyperbolic, but it is essentially, history has just shown us. If you want to learn about it, it just opens it up and opens it up. What I'm saying is there shouldn't be a man at the top. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't have a president, and I know that's why I need informed people to have these conversations with, because if I was to say that to my uncle in Iowa, I'm a dirty communist, yeah. And that's it. There's no more conversation. And that's not what I'm talking about. It's very nuanced, and I think that it's time that we, as a society of people, even where you are, as a society of humans on this planet, need to decide what we care about, what we value, and what we're willing to let go and what we're willing to fight for, and come together on these things. And I don't think that, for me, I don't think that someone owning $156 billion is okay. If someone owned 156 billion cats, we'd lock them up. I mean,
I was just talking about this, something similar today with the lorry driver that does our deliveries. Now, we're a big enough company that I work for, biggest for what it does in all of the island of Ireland, north and south, and I'm with them 20 years, you know, and some cunt walks in off the street and he gets now the same money that I've had to fight for raises and all the rest of it, you know. I'm considering leaving the company, and a lot of people are. Me and the lorry driver were whinging in the back of the lorry, you know, as you do. Hate the boss, why's he got this fast big car and all this here. And he recently sold a van from one of the Belfast depots, whatever he got, maybe $3 or $4 grand for it, and the lorry driver got the money when he was in Belfast, took it up the road, went to the office and head office and handed it to him, and he was like, Robbie, he didn't even count it, he didn't even check it, he just opened the bottom drawer of the desk and chucked it in as if it was nothing. Now, the man could have went and looked back at it later, but it's the fact that he has that much money, he doesn't need to worry. You know, he actually has a big massive flash car that he bought purely because his brother, who's into fast cars, bought a Nissan GTR and then bought a new BMW, one of the M Sport ones, right? And he's feeling a bit left out, so he goes and buys an Audi RS6. I know you don't understand what these cars are, but big flash, twin turbo, all other. He drove.
I grew up in a body shop, so
right.
You'd be surprised. Happy
days. A woman after my own heart. No, so he goes and he drives it for a couple of months, and then he whinges that it costs too much to run in petrol. So he takes the car that they give to customers and starts driving it, which is just a standard Volkswagen Passat, because he's whinging how much money it costs to run the other car. You're worth millions, man. Right. Stop your fucking whinging. Like, it's people do not need that amount of money. That's the point I'm making. If he has 50 million, he'd be the same rich at 10 million that he would be at 50 million, because once you get past a point, you just stop caring.
There comes a point in someone's wealth where an extra 100 a week makes no fucking difference. And I am okay with us as a civilization saying that's where we don't draw the line, saying you can't keep making money. No. I'm not for that at all. I'm saying at that point, that's when taxes kick in, and we agree that at that point where an extra 100 means nothing to you, it doesn't make or break anything. Actually, you don't even know about it. That 100 just makes money. That's where taxes should kick in, and we should and it should go by a needs basis. Where do we need the funding the most? It goes directly there. If there's homeless problems, what's the problem? They need a home. If there is funding problems, they need funding. If there are food shortages, the problem is they need food. It's I know that makes it black and white, and none of this is black and white, and I get that.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. There was a problem this week with Nina Turner, who I love me some Nina Turner. She had called Bloomberg an oligarch. Now, CNN and corporate media blew a fucking gasket because you can call him an elite, but don't call him an oligarch. I'm sorry, look up oligarch in the dictionary.
That's America has its own oligarch system.
He is.
Yeah, they just don't like using that word because it sounds Russian.
It does sound Russian. However, it means somebody with incredible, immense wealth who has political power. I'm sorry, I've seen pictures with Bloomberg golfing with Clinton. I've seen him golfing with Trump. I've seen him talking in the Oval Office with Obama. I've seen him talking in the Oval Office with Bush. What is that if not an oligarch? So I have a problem with that. I really do. I know I could never be a millionaire or a billionaire. Let's say billionaire. It wouldn't be in this days, the way things work. Like Bernie is 78 and he became a millionaire in the last 2 years by selling a book. I mean, it happened. And that's whatever. I don't hate him for that.
That makes him a hypocrite. You know that makes him a hypocrite, don't they?
It makes ignorant people hypocrites. That's what it makes. I say go for him. And I'm not talking about the people who make $500,000 a year and their husband makes $700,000 a year. And together they're bringing over $1 million. I'm not talking. Good for you. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about the people who have made it to a point where every second their money is making $150,000.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. And I'm talking about that being un-okay.
Yeah, they're making it purely on the interest, which is based on what the banks does, and the banks is fucking corrupt as well.
Right. That's the problem. And now, in these
it feeds
oligarchs,
itself. It does feed itself.
He helps make and sculpt these policies that help him remain an oligarch, and that's not okay. And I'm glad that people are like me. I'm just a mom in Florida that is informed, and I want to help other people be informed. So if I'm just some random person, it's happening everywhere. And that's why Bernie's campaign on the ground has been so strong, because we are all around the world. We are Gen X and below are the most informed, most educated younger generation that has ever been. Now, that's not saying people are miseducated. That happens. There's lots of propaganda.
Do you know what the funny thing about that is, right? I've had this conversation with a few people before. I never used the statement that we are the most informed, but I would have said, like, look at the people who were introduced to the internet in and around the age of 13 and 14.
Yes.
Right? Now, when you're 13 and 14 and the internet first came out, you were at that age that not that you'd been held back from the information, but you'd been, it had been given to you in drips and drabs, so to speak, in the ability that your mind and your brain could cope with it. And it's got to the point now with the kids that have grown up with the internet since the age of, my wee girl, she's 3, and she knows how to use my phone. She knows to hold it up to daddy's face to get the facial recognition to work, and then walks off with it. Oh yeah, swear to God.
You are screwed.
Oh, I'm fucked. Yeah, I make a joke she's going to figure out quantum gravity. That's my goal for her in life. Fuck presidency. She's going to figure out quantum gravity. But this is the point I'm trying to make is kids have had this ability. Oh, well, you're wrong. I can look it up on the internet. You're wrong. I can look it up on the internet. Now, the problem with that is the internet doesn't have a filter. Now, there's obviously parental filters, but with what happened with the 2016 election and things like that, fake news, actual fake news, not Trump fake news, but what people need to be taught now in the education system. I feel that a child now at the age of 11 has all the information they need at their fingertips. They don't need to be taught something they don't need to be taught something that they need to regurgitate 6 months down the line to pass a test that they're going to forget about 6 months later.
I agree.
They need to be taught.
I don't like that type of learning. No. I don't think that it's beneficial as a whole for society.
They need to be taught to think, to be able to discern the difference between what is, and it all boils down to critical and logical thinking would be an umbrella for that. But there's not enough of that taught in school. It's literally taught. Somebody said it. Who was it? The school system at the minute is like education bulimia, where you're literally fed to your full and then you vomit it back up again. I can't remember who said that, and I'm saying it wrong, but you get the point I'm trying to make. That's what the education system is like at the minute. It's just like bulimia. You're fed this information, you vomit back up. That
a lot. Aaron Ra talks about that a lot in his personal life, and one of the main reasons is he was a part in 2012 in America. They're in the United States, the two biggest states are Texas and California. What Texas and California do, the rest of the country follows normally. When it comes to education and textbooks, Texas and California do that. That's what they do. Yeah, so would you rather have your child's education coming from Californian textbooks or Texas textbooks?
Yeah, because they're completely different sides of the spectrum.
One says Moses is a historical person.
I know.
And the other one says, well, let's find out if he was a historical person. Two totally different. the problem with that is the people who are on the school board there, because one's a dentist, you know, he's held up really high in his area, which it takes a lot of work to become a dentist, but that doesn't mean that you're a biological evolutionist. That doesn't mean that you understand these things. It means that you're good at dentistry.
Yep.
Oh, and that's the problem. And in 2012, it's about every 18 to 22 years, our country revises textbooks, and Texas has been the one to do it the last 3 times. So we're having huge problems. And one of them is, Arn Ra talks about this all the time. There was a documentary put out. He's in it, but he's not in it as one of the characters. When you watch this, the voting of what goes in school textbooks, he's in the background walking around.
Yeah, I've seen that video.
He's just like in it. He was there.
Yeah.
They voted on keeping critical thinking out of public school textbooks because it is wrong to challenge children's deeply held beliefs given to them by their parents.
Your camera moved at the exact point you said that. That was poignant as fuck. Yeah, no shock. Like I specifically do, even as my wee girl is at 3, I try to teach her. You know, obviously we can't go into what logic is and stuff like that, but you know, she hit me in the face with a fucking tennis racket the other day. She's at that age where she's throwing things. Now, I raised my voice and I reacted. You know, I didn't reach out and punch her in the face, but I fucking screamed. I was like, you don't do that. And she just broke down into tears as if, you know, I screamed at her. But I sat down with her and I told her, and I was like, would you like to get hit in the face with a tennis racket?
Yeah.
You know, and it's getting that mindset of how to think in someone's head. Obviously, that's empathy and not logic, but you know, it's...
No, but they go together.
Yeah, I can understand not having it in school because it is not something that people were taught of, and it was not, maybe not, I hate to use the phrase not necessary, but it didn't seem poignant at the time and was left out. And I can see that being not okay, but right, that's happened. But actually voting to keep it out is making a stand against it.
Yep.
They
do not want what they have told their children to be true and factual to be challenged in the public school system. And I'm sorry, what is the education for to challenge our beliefs? Okay, so we don't have pre-K, kindergarten, first, second, as in challenging the beliefs. That'd be really confusing for many children. Not all, but many children. But at what point do we say, okay, we won't specifically challenge a belief on a child, but the curriculum will teach them how to challenge their own beliefs? Why is that not okay?
Yeah. If they choose to, give them the choice. I've threatened, well, not threatened, that's a bad choice of a word, but I've said to my woman, if I even have the hint that when my wee girl goes to high school, they start to dumb her down, I'm going to quit and homeschool her. Yeah. I couldn't take that, you know. The education system, I feel, failed me. I'm not, you know, I wouldn't say I'm 100% normal, and I learn differently than that system. And,
same here.
You know, I was predicted high results. I was physics, maths, chemistry, biology at A-level, went on to Queen's University, and life did happen. But that is one of them. But I was struggling at school. I was, you know, I didn't just leave because of that. I was also getting bad results, and I knew that without help, I couldn't do it, and I couldn't get the help. And if my wee girl, which probably will be wired the same as me because she's fucking mine, and I see the education system failing her the way it failed me, I will be one of those annoying fucking parents that goes in and screams at the teachers. And no, she's my world. And the whole point of having a child...
I can tell.
Okay. The whole point, I feel, of having a kid, some people have them because they need a wee bit more money on their dole. You know, I'm not going to be... You can wide brush statement, you know, it is a wide brush statement, but there's council estates and there's housing flats that are filled with women with 4 and 5 kids that are single parents because the father's walked out because he doesn't care. The mother is stuck in a situation where there's no social structure to help her get an education or get her into the structural ladder, and they feel like, well, if I have another kid, I can get more money. And some people do that. I'm not saying all council estates do, but then you have kids and you send them to an education system that doesn't want to help them in any way. So you end up with an entire generation of people who It's really hard, an entire generation of people that are stuck, that don't have the education to help themselves and don't have a government social support to help them, and they're just stuck making everything worse.
Yep. So and that to me makes my mind go back to the 100 families on this planet that have more wealth than the bottom 50% of this planet. And for me, why I could never be in that position was because I would want to help. I wouldn't be able to go home at night, lay down in bed and think, oh, I have all these millions and there's people that need help. I couldn't do it. So I think that it takes someone that something's not clicking in their head. And maybe you'll say, oh, I'm calling them bad people. And that's not necessarily true. I don't think that they understand that Bill Gates could end homelessness in our entire country if he wanted to today. Like, to have that power and not use it makes my stomach sick. And, you could say, well, it's not his responsibility. I agree with you. But whose responsibility is it then? I come from, if you have the means to help and someone needs help, you fucking help them. That's it. You don't go without to help someone else. You don't, here's my house, I'll live somewhere else. That's not what I'm talking about. That's, black and white again. It's not black and white. It's nuanced. I think we all could do our part to help.
Yeah,
it's a matter of wanting to.
I don't know, people can say what they want and you have to proclaim you're wonderful and all the rest of it. But we were having a conversation today about work because there's a radio competition that's been running for a week. And if they ring up and you answer within 5 rings and get the amount of money correct, you win the amount of money. And people have not answered within the 5 rings all of a week and not got the number correct. And today's number was £30,000, £30 and 30p. So it was very easy to remember. Somebody may have won it. Oh, what would you do if you won it and all that there? And I was like, well, I'd build the fucking house, finish off my house. And then it went down the route of millions. What if you win the lotto? And I rung off about 4 people in the community here that I would fund if I won, because the help that these people could do, when they get out, and if you had the money to do something, it would make a big difference. I have mentioned before, and I'm hoping, my friend's building me a website, and I'm hoping when it's up and running and I've got some skills to do it, I'm hoping to have like a notice board where people can give a skill, leave a skill, and if you're willing to give up an hour of your time a week to help somebody with something that they're bad at, and back and forth. And
love that. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, because an hour's nothing. An hour's nothing. Yeah, no,
it's nothing. And my skill is hair. And I can't do it now because of how far. I was just talking to Brantley yesterday about that. I would go. There is a drug rehabilitation center. It's a residential where people go live there for 3 and 6 months to, get better, to get off drugs and alcohol. And one Sunday a month, I'd go and get there around 10 in the morning and stay till about 5 and do free haircuts because they can't leave. Well, guess what? Hair still grows. So I think that is such a brilliant idea. What skill could you share with somebody for an hour? I really like that. And I'm really upset that I did not think of that.
No, copyright. I'm copyrighting that now. Where's the circle with the C? We're going to circle with the C and the little pig head now. But no,
I love it. Well,
I'm in Ireland, so there's not much I can do physically for people, but I know Discord quite well. I can help with that. Wee bit of OBS, and if anyone just needs someone to fucking blame, we're trying to start a hashtag blame Mathpig. Yeah, so if you're even having a bad day, just blame me. I've even got it on my t-shirts. It's in the merch store below. It's hashtag blame Mathpig. If you
like it,
I'm here to help, and that's what I want with this community as well. Obviously, we want to get down to the deep and meaningful questions and talk about the big topics, but as a community, we need to also help each other. And if people are struggling and it's easy for you, I feel that if you can do something really easy and somebody is struggling, that it's not, you should be obligated. I feel obligated to help someone.
I do too.
If it takes somebody 2 weeks to do something and you can do it in 15 minutes, why would you not? The same as you say with the money. If you've got 15 million spare, why would you not?
Right. And I'm not saying give all 15 away. I'm saying maybe take 2.5 of it and set it in some sort of a, account that is specifically for helping this problem, and have volunteers for it. Make it a nonprofit so that money really goes. You're not paying salaries. There are ways to help people, and many people who are wealthy do. They do. Like I know this. I've met them. I know them. I have some of them as clients. They do go out of their way to help. And so that's not, again, it's not a black and white thing. I'm really talking about the oligarchs, the people who their money makes them money every minute. Every minute, many of them make more than 4 Americans make in a whole year. Every minute, their money makes that. And I don't know, like, how could you live with yourself? Yeah. I think about that all the time. What would I do? And I didn't think of what you thought of, and I wrote that down. Now I have a little, of course you will get the credit for it. No. However, I think that's a great idea, but there's so many cats in this area. I want to rescue and rehome animals, but I don't want it to stop there. I want to be able to bring kids in at very young ages and teach them the importance of taking care of the other critters on this planet with us, and why that's a humanist thing, and why it matters, and how you treat animals will definitely, if you can't treat an animal right, why would I think you could treat people right?
Yeah, on that same topic again, I shouted at my wee girl because we call them bloodsuckers. They're like little tiny arachnids, the wee tiny, the wee tiny things, and she was squishing them, and I was like, no, you can't do that. Now we all did that, and they're only tiny insects and have no brains, but you don't do that. I made a joke because I was like, do you see our daughters out there killing all them insects? I was like, have you read The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks?
Yes.
Now she hasn't. She didn't get the joke, but you get the joke. Yeah.
No.
We need to nip that in the butt right now. We need to get rid of that. We need to stop that.
Oh no.
If it progresses to rats on sticks, we're fucked. All right.
Or the magnifying glass and ants.
Oh.
Why is that a thing? I didn't do that. But there were boys in our neighborhood that did that all the time.
I did pour salt and bleach on slugs to see, but that was more of an experiment. That was the scientist in me. I do. Yeah. I keep bees. We've got 30 beehives, and we make honey and stuff like that. And on a good day, when they're in a nice mood, you can take them down, without any suit, and provided you don't poke and hook at them and lift lids off, and you can walk around them. I've a video I'll show you when we go off air of my wee girl less than 2 foot from about 3 hives, surrounded by maybe 1,000 bees just flying around her, and her amazed by it. That sort of thing is fine, but don't squish the bugs. No, don't put rats' heads on sticks.
It's really cool that you do that. You're like the 5th person I've met this year that takes care of bees.
2016.
I love that.
2016, it was the fastest growing hobby in the UK. I don't know if that was, but it is something that's necessary to do. My father's been doing it for an awful long years, maybe 10, 15 years, but started with 6, and then he had 10.
It's not hyperbolic to say without bees, we will cease to exist. It's not hyperbolic to say. We need them. We cannot survive without them. Maybe we could, but not all of us.
I said that to a guy before, and he was like, oh, that's fine. The vegetarians will die out. I'll still be able to eat my beef. And I was like, what do you think the cows eat? Grass. And what
the hell?
Yeah, I know. This is the stupidity. The people that I work with in the new depot, you see the face you just made? That's what they make me feel like every single fucking day. Honest to God, I work with I work with guys who, oh my goodness, he watches the first 10 minutes of Love Island every week just to see how good the girls look, and the things that he was saying, I would dive on this, that, and misogynist, it is. And the things that they say, the politics in the country, we now have 2 women running the parties. Mm-hmm. And that's the reason that we had no government for 3 years, because the women are in charge. This is like, I am losing my mind at work. It is, they're so fucking...
You're not the only one. Many of us
deniers,
work in conservative, toxic...
Yeah, they don't believe in climate change either. Climate change is not. He came out.
It's a hoax. That's a Chinese hoax.
Oh, it was hilarious today because we were talking about electric cars and how they're taking over and stuff like that there, and it is the way to go. And I'm a petrol head, so I'm sad about that. But I made the analogy that I was like, what do you think about the people with horse and carts that made their business doing that? Do you not think that they thought it was even weirder to bring out a mechanical thing? You're just going from petrol to electric. Oh dear, you can't hear the engine now. Life is hard. You've 3 times more torque and can drive faster. It's better weighted and handles better. Look at the good points, But he said to me, well, where are they going to get the electric from? And I was like, what do you mean they're going to get the electric from fucking power stations? And he was like, yeah, coal.
Right.
Coal. And I was like, yeah, well, we need solar panels. We need wind power. But they're not doing it because it's all a hoax. I was like, right, okay, fine.
Well, Trump did it. Actually, I think people don't give him credit for, and maybe this wasn't all him. Probably it wasn't, but he did have a part in it. With here in the States, yeah, he has dumb rhetoric. It's a Chinese hoax. But what he did with the tariffs was make it so that to have solar panels brought in, you have to pay so much more, and subsidies are out now.
Yeah, and before that happened, solar panels were one of the fastest growing industries in America.
Yes.
And rather than actually put more money into a business that would create more jobs and a better CO2 footprint, he went the other way to support his base. And just as you say about rhetoric, that was the reason at the start I called you a communist. Because at the fucking interview the other day, just slipping that little word in. Some people call Bernie a socialist. I call him a communist. Just slipping in that little word. That's the...
Well, listen, there's a story behind that. What happened was he got the data back for what will be our way forward. And what they got back was attacking Bernie on democratic socialism is not working. Nobody fucking cares. Because Bernie has come out and said, this is what I say.
He's laid out his plan.
And so it's not working.
Yeah.
So now he's like, commie. That's what he is.
And it is, do you know what it is? It's the 1950s lotto. If you've been aiming for the 1950s good old days, there's a YouTuber out there that Vosh made fun of. And his intro is in black and white, and it's him driving up in a 1950s car to a house, and there's a girl there, and the wife comes out and the kid with a white picket fence and stuff, and the good old days. And that's exactly what Trump is aiming for. Back when religion was strong, family values, wife at home, all that sort of mentality.
Father's the head of the household, and what he says goes.
Well, don't get me wrong. I still feel like a provider. I still feel like I am there to provide for my family, especially the fact that I do live apart from them. That's not going to go
away for generations. It's the way that it's been for our existence. Even before there was economies, when it was hunting and gathering. If a woman has a brand baby at home, she's not going to be out fighting the other tribes. She's going to be at home caring for the baby. But that means someone has to bring the food. Someone has to help build the shelter, and so but that doesn't mean that we can't acknowledge that is exactly what happened and learn from it and grow from it. That's their problem. They think, well, that's the way it was, that's the way it has to be. And that's not true.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. My woman does not want to be a complete stay-at-home mum, and she does 12-hour shifts in a old folks' home with people with dementia. So, she's a nice person, and it's not an easy job. She's come home with bruises because she's tried to help a man who's on the floor wet himself back into bed again, and he's punched her in the chest, because obviously he's got dignity, but she's just trying to help.
Right. Yeah, no, that is one of the hardest jobs that there are, actually, is taking care of our elderly. And I think as far as the society goes, we could learn so much from some of the Asian societies who, in their societies, the elderly are respected and revered, and people surround them. They take care of them. I do like that. I do appreciate that. I think that the elderly have so much more to offer us as far as wisdom goes. I don't think that it should stop there, because not all of them should be telling us how things should be, but we can learn how.
That's exactly it as well. Their brains were wired differently too. They were wired more old school, so to speak, in the way that memory works. So when I talk to my granny, like, my woman is a Catholic, I'm a Protestant, and I want us to have a family tree. Now, in Northern Ireland, that actually means something, you know, the whole different sides. And I want us to have a family tree because she has come from the people who were oppressed, her family line, and my family line's from the people who did the oppressing. Yeah. So it's nice that we are together and stuff, and I want a family tree. And I sat down one time with my granny and asked her, and she could go back about 4 generations and still name names, and 2 or 3 generations and still tell me addresses of where they lived when they died, you know, and a lot of information. I couldn't do that now because I've got my phone. Yeah, it's a lot of wisdom.
It's priceless. I think that, you know, we wouldn't be here without them. That doesn't mean that someone that abused you your whole life, you should hold them up because they were there before you. That is not what I mean. I always have to caveat what I'm saying because people are dumb.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah.
Something that you're not.
Like, don't get
I'm not saying.
Oh, go on ahead. Sorry, no, I agree with your statement. When it comes to talking to me, you don't need to, yeah.
Right. And I'm sure most of the people here understand that. I'm not saying that as well. The elder generations do have a lot to give us as a whole, not necessarily, you know, this bigoted grandpa over here.
Well, my granny is
not listen to him, and you probably will never change those people, and that's okay. That's been really hard. That's been a lesson that I've had to learn in the last, you know, decade. These people whose ideas I find disgusting, that I'm related to, I didn't want anything to do with because of those ideas, and I think that I was missing out because so I don't talk about those things with them. I let them know that I find that bigoted and atrocious, and we can talk about other things that you and I have in common, and I can still get those benefits from the older generations that I wouldn't get without having them. There is so much wisdom there, and I don't think that our workers, whether it's in Ireland or Scotland or UK, anywhere, or the US or Canada or Australia, when we have workers in elderly homes, they really should be paid more.
Woman, I mean, would you believe my woman
caring for our family?
She is on the legal minimum wage. She is being paid the absolute minimum that she is legally obliged to do.
I'm not okay with that. I'm not. If you took a poll, most people will not be okay with that. Would you rather your granny be taken care of by someone who has great benefits, who has a great living wage, who has
Christy, when you hear this, right? The company that they work for, which I will not name, right? The company they work for, when you are sent to these homes, right? They have a fleet of them, a franchise, you know. They buy over all the smaller ones. When you then become part of the old folks' home, they get, they're in charge of your money. They're in charge of your house.
Yeah, so,
yeah, the house may be sold up until the point where they can cover your money. And the home that my girlfriend works for, her mother is the manager of 2. She's like, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 steps on up the line. She's been working there for, I think 30 years or something. You know, she's worked her way up through the chain. And she manages 2 of them. So she sees the books and all the rest of it. And she has said to me that whenever she gets to a certain age, right, it would be cheaper for us to sell the house and send her on a cruise a week than it would be to actually send her to the old folks' home. And not to put the old folks' home down, but when you're on a 5-star cruise, you've got a 5-star doctor that is there at your waiting hand in turn because you're paying him.
That is true. That is true.
Now, they don't have a doctor on site. They have nurses on site, and they can get a doctor, and they're only, I think they're only about 3/4 of a mile from Altnagavin Hospital. You know, so they're right near the main hospital, but they don't have a doctor on site. And the most exciting thing that they do, like we went round there on Halloween. We all dressed up, and you know, you've got some old crazy man in the corner with a clown dress, you know, mask on, and he's no idea what's going on, but. No, it was. You see, if it had been, instead of being at 10 o'clock in the morning, Christy, it had been at 10 o'clock at night. It could have been Halloween, or no, it could have been an actual Halloween movie. You know, some of them were
a horror movie.
Yeah, some of them were quite freaky, just sitting rocking on their rocking chairs with an entire face. Yeah, just normal clothes and just their face painted maybe like a clown, and it's like, okay,
that's a little creepy.
Yeah, it's creepy, but.
I do have to say I'm not a yang ganger, although I think that
a lot
of his policies have a place in the future. They really do. I think that talking about elderly and taking care of them and how it would be better to send them on a cruise instead of taking, that's where some of Yang's policies really hit home for me. He says we as a society have to come together and talk about what things we value, what things that we consider jobs, because right now, especially in the US, jobs are totalitarian. We are dictatorship jobs. There is a top hierarchy down. You're told what to wear, how to wear it, how you can wear your hair, what time to be there. These are dictatorships. I'm not saying that they are morally wrong or anything. That's just what they are. Now, I prefer a more democratic enterprise. That's what I prefer. So I think as a society, if we were to come together and say, we value our family members, obviously, family first, obviously. Come on, conservatives, you guys are about the family. So I think it would be easy to get them on board one-on-one. Not Fox News, not media, one-on-one. Going to people's doors, knocking on the door, saying, I'd like to talk to you about family values. Do you value your grandparents? Would you prefer to take care of them in your home? Most people would say yes. Would you prefer that our taxes provided you with an extra room or a house with that extra room so that you could have your elderly parents in the home? Yes, they say, well, we can't take off work. Okay, so then as a society, let's decide, is taking care of your elderly a job that we are willing to pay for? I say yeah. Most people would say yeah. So then you apply, you get your mom, your dad, your grandparents in your house, and you get a stipend to take care of them, just as Finland is doing, just as many of the Scandinavian countries are doing. They think that it is more important to have that second and third generation in your home, especially if you're raising children. Yes. God, that's awesome.
It's been shown that young kids keep the elderly active, so it is good for their health as well. You look at any... Yeah, I know it's an awful thing, but if you look at some of the other countries that have 3 and 4 generations living in the one home, that 3 and 4 generation usually lives to 80 or 90. Now, we do that in this country as well, but do you think that they have the same health benefits as us? They're going to bed and there's cockroaches running across the floor. Their food is not the same quality that ours is. Yeah, they're doing
it because there is no other option. That's the only housing area that they have for their entire family.
Exactly, so but having the kids around and being a family, a community, it is better. Whenever, as I say, we're trying to build a house. We're hoping to get enough money together to build a house. We are planning to put what we refer to over here as a granny flat at the bottom of the land, which will just be 1 bedroom, maybe 2 bedrooms, kitchen, living room and a toilet. So when my parents, like my girlfriend's dad's not well, and I don't think there's long left, and it'll leave her mum on her own, and then when her mum gets old, where's she going to be? She's going to be... No, we house the bottom of the garden. Or for my mum, because as I've explained before, we live 2 hours apart. So when my mum gets old, she can stay with us. She'll have her own independence, but at the same time, we're close by. And my woman says, and when she go, the house, what the fucking thing going to do? Just lie idle until somebody gets old and decrepit? I was like, no, when the kids grow up, we'll move them into them, we'll charge them rent, and we'll teach them responsibilities.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that there's value in that.
That's exactly what my mother did to me. I mentioned this the other night. From the moment I got a job, my ma took 25% of my wages off me for rent. And then that lasted for about 5 years until I moved out. And when I moved out, she gave me enough for the deposit for the house that I was moving into.
Right.
Because that got me on the ladder then.
Teaching you something without even you realizing it.
Yeah, she was saving money for me. Obviously, she did use it to fund whatever was necessary to fund on the house. But whenever I moved out, she gave me what was close to maybe half of it back, deposit, and enough to get some furniture for the house. And that got me on the ladder. And there's a lot of people, now that was a rental, but it meant that it gave me a small starting point, plus the fact that it had taught me pay bills. Always pay your bills first. Do this. Make sure there's a roof above your head. And
knowing that you had someone there that was willing to make sure that you had like a little bit, just a couple steps ahead of someone who wouldn't have anything. Those things really matter. Now, I am not Christian, anymore. I am not a theist anymore, as I'm sure most of you guys know. A few years back, I let go of all of my magical thinking. And however, let me caveat, there is a video on YouTube on many different sites. It is a Christian video, and I fucking love it. Okay, so let me set it up. There are a whole bunch of kids at a summer camp, and they're all in a line facing their camp director, who says to this group of kids, black, white, Spanish, gay, everybody's involved. If both your parents are still together, take three steps forward. If you've met, known your grandparents, they've been a part of your life, take 3 steps forward. If your mom was able to go to all of your, games, your swim meets, take 2 steps forward. If someone in your family was killed by violence, take a step back. If both your parents have never been married or never been together, take a step back. If either of your parents have ever done jail time for drugs or violence, take 3 steps back. So what happens at the end now, you have this huge group of people, mostly white, up front, almost by the finish line, the other line.
Yeah.
And many other kids way back. Now, this Christian director says, now take a look around. This is your starting line in life. Now, you might not feel privileged. You might feel like you're just everyone else. But if you look back and your friends are way back there and you're both starting in life, that's privilege. That explains it so well to me. And I think on kids are so idealistic. They really are. They want to do the best. They want to be the best. They want good leaders. They see everything in almost black and white. You're the good or
bad. Is good though. For anyone listening and has kids, I know yours are grown up now, Christy. But I recently, a couple of months ago, I read a lot about raising the best babies. What's great for your child and all that. And it's maybe a little bit of a trick, but kids will generally go for the second option. And I've got my wee girl to eat better things and do things that I've wanted her to do. And, by giving it to her as the second option.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Kids will also do that just to say no at the start,
Little suckers, all of them. Yeah, you just have to know to talk. These are tiny little future adults. They're not below us. They're not ignorant. They're just need to be molded. They don't have the experiences that we have yet. Yeah. So it's important that we guide them and let them have those experiences, not tell them how to have them, not explain why we did what we did and that's how they should do it. It's okay to explain what we did and why we did it and how we did it, but not that they have to do it that way at all. And I think to just listen, there's no right or wrong in life. There are wrong things in life. That's not what I'm saying. As far as growing up, you make decisions. Some of them are wrong. And make more wrong decisions. Make as many wrong decisions as you possibly can in this life.
Meatloaf says it best. Meatloaf says it best in the song Wasted Youth. I can't remember the exact line in it, but something like a youth not doing anything is a wasted youth. It's not the going out and partying. It's not don't get me wrong, I did that too. At one stage I lived in a house that had no carpet in the hall and came home from work one day and the person I was living with had 30 people in the house partying. Doing coke in the windowsills of the house. They had stabbed my freezer to try and get the frozen stuff out and I'd let all the gas out, so my freezer was broke. They'd pulled the fireplace down and the hearth was on fire. It was insane. The same bastard stole my car. Stole my car and got involved in a police car chase and ran away and then broke his leg falling down a hill. Oh, yeah.
It wasn't me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. My mother phoned me because my car was still registered to her house, and she rang me at 4 a.m. and asked me where my car was, and I was like, "It's parked outside," and she was like, "No, it's not. It's flying up and down the Millvale Road." And I opened the curtains, no car. Went to the living room, no person I was living with. Yeah, they took the car to go get cigarettes drunk. They lifted my keys and away to go get cigarettes from the shop. And then the police noticed it waving over the road and started to chase them, so they thought they would, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you probably made the news with this story.
Oh no, this is Northern Ireland. That's nothing. No, we get bombs over here. Bombs make the news.
Jesus crazy Irish.
Little fucking carts. I actually learned to drive in what we refer to as South Armagh, which is bandit country. It's where the IRA used to train. And well, being a Protestant, my mother did encourage us to meet with other people of both sides, and I ended up falling in with a group of people whose father was in the IRA. And
I'm sure it wasn't hard to do since it was
no, we had the best fun because we could get away with loads of stuff because of that. Like, I learned to drive in an unmarked BMW with lots of weed in the boot with cars of cops chasing us.
So it was a smart decision to become friends.
Oh yeah, great fun. Same fella crossed the wrong people and he had to leave the country for about a year and a half up until his dad sent someone over to England to get him back. So it was, proper bandit country. But yeah, that's the stuff that makes the news. Just some drunk fellas.
I was wondering about Northern Ireland and marijuana, being a pothead myself. I know that there were a lot.
I'm smoking right now.
What I know is that it's considered like, don't do it. It's not cool.
It is
but
what
that
is known.
Can't be true.
It's known here as a Class B drug, if I'm right. It used to be Class C, and it's now Class B. Class A is, the top worst stuff. But people
like
start
meth and heroin and all that. Yeah.
But the CBD oil has become massive over here now. Absolutely massive, right? And people are using it for a lot of pain. Even my mother, who at the start was against weed, completely. After I went and got her the proper THC oil, which is completely illegal here. But I got her that in a coconut oil form and made her 2 liters of a milkshake in a milk bottle. And I was like, everything
it helped, didn't it?
Oh, she rang me. She cleaned every window in the house, and she has pains in her shoulders, and she can't lift her arm above, 80 degrees.
And she's all like,
oh yeah, fucking cleaned all the windows around me. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And then after that, she did say that she didn't like the stupid effect, as she called it, the silly effect. Yeah, she was high. She was fucking high.
Maybe not an indica for her. Maybe just
this stuff was pure strong. I like, my friend made it. We fucking put a lot in it. It was very strong. So it's not surprising that she doesn't even drink, She was high as a fucking kite. But then she went on to the CBD oil. And
music playing. She's watching.
I bet you there was Garth Brooks or Reba McEntire in the background going buck mad. Like,
oh god, country music made it real far, huh?
Oh yeah, I know all the words to Ain't Going Down to the Sun Comes Up and can sing them at the same speed as Garth Brooks because of my upbringing. But so
sorry.
Weed over here, they have started what we refer to as cannabis clubs now. There is one in Belfast. It started as a Facebook group, invite only, and the police are
Trey.
Yeah, I'm smoking right now myself, which is another reason why I'm not in camera. But anyway, they have the Belfast Cannabis Club, which you have to get invited into. Now, if you're buying weed over here illegally and you're buying it through what would be the general means, which is paramilitary groups mainly. So the people I'm getting it from are buying it from a guy who's buying it from either the IRA or the LVF or the UVF or something like that. And that's how they fund their organisations at the minute, right?
Are they violent?
The LVF and the LVF would be more violent now as in territory. As in, you can't sell in my area, you can't do your shit in my area. Where the Republicans would be more violent now, as in they let off bombs and kidnap cars, shoot people. We had a bomb scare less than 3 days ago.
So, I'm curious then, do you think personally, if Northern Ireland voted to completely decriminalize and make it legal, that the black market and the violence would cease to exist?
Well, you see, this is what I'm getting to. The Belfast Cannabis Club, right? If you're buying it through the paramilitaries, you're paying over £10 a gram, right? So if you're buying an ounce, you would be paying £280 sterling, right?
Right.
If you go to the Belfast Cannabis Club, the way that they work it is they are growing in their house to sell to people in the cannabis club, and then that guy is growing in his to sell, and it's not paramilitary, it's just people, and a lot of it's medical as well. There's a lot of people making the cannabis oil and using the full-blown THC cannabis oil, right? And they're selling in between each other, and they're not selling outside of it, they're only selling inside their group.
Right.
Now,
they're selling to consume the medicine.
Yes, yeah. And also, it's recreational as well. Like, there's one particular guy. There's one particular guy who goes by Bedrock or something. He's got the what do you call it? The Flintstones logo. You know, he goes by that, and it's fun. Yeah, if you buy a certain amount, he gives you a bun or a lollipop or something that he's made as well. Because he makes these lollipops and he makes the buns for the people, you know, who can't smoke. So he throws in a free bun with maybe fucking whack you out this bun. But anyway, the point I'm saying is the police turn a blind eye to it because it's internal. On top of that, it's cheaper. They literally only sell to cover their costs. Instead of being £280 to the paramilitaries, it's only £200 to the Belfast.
Well, I do have to say, on the street here in Florida, an ounce of good, High Times bud is about $310. So
it would be roughly about the same, maybe, yeah.
But that doesn't mean that if you had a good connect or you were buying it by the quarter pound, you wouldn't get it cheaper.
Well, you see, this is another thing as well, right? The stuff that you buy by the paramilitaries has been vacuum sealed and transferred from here, there, and the other place. So it's as compact as anything. The stuff that these guys are doing are being dried in their back room. So it's lovely and fluffy. So not only is it cheaper, I know it's the same weight, but you do get more bang for your buck because it's not as compact. So it's an all-round better thing. And quite recently, they had their second. Over here, it's illegal to smoke in a pub, so they have smoking areas, out the back. Like we designated area. They've had 2, I wouldn't say lock-ins because they're within ours, but they've had smoke parties in the smoking area out the back of pubs in Belfast that have been closed off. And they've put videos up afterwards on their Facebook group. And, like, if anybody really wanted to, you could find out what pub this was in. There's no faces shown or anything. But I mean, there's 20 tables of people with bongs and vaporizers and concentrates, and the police turn a blind eye.
I think that we're watching the world change on this. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel that we are in the middle of, a complete change. I think who has it wrong still, and I'll speak for my own government, is the federal government. And I'm not an anarchist. I do like some anarchist policies, by the way. I am a Noam Chomsky diehard. So I do like a lot of anarchist policies. I don't, however, I don't agree with getting rid of the federal government completely. I don't. I like that the federal government, if a state is saying, no, we don't want to make white kids go to school with black kids, we don't want to, that the federal government can come in with the National Guard and be like, but you're gonna. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is the states saying, hey, our people have voted to consume marijuana, so we're going to let them. But the federal government here still has it in the same category with heroin and meth and crack.
It's a strange system, but I do think that if Bernie gets in, it will change. It'll be
day one. You guys want to watch his policy on that? Secular Talk with Kyle Klinsky today. The date today, he released short clip on Bernie on day one. We'll take it off of the Schedule 1 list.
I haven't seen. I do watch Kyle. Kyle's quite good, and Jenk's running for, is it Senate or?
For Congress in California.
Yeah. No, TYT. Woo! I used to watch it fuckloads when I was eating my dinner because it came.
Well, John Idarola is my favorite.
John's very good. I do like John. He was a little bit left in the background, but now he's got the damage report. He's
like the a little bit left all the way around.
What do you call the guy with the dreadlocks that does the damage report with him?
JR.
Yeah, I love his brain. As Richard would say, JR. I love his brain. He is. Look, we've got one in the chat. I love Spartan. Right, Spartan is Bernie is a communist with a sad face. Spartan. I have met on Discord, right? And if you look, I think it's next Sunday or next Tuesday, I have an interview with Spartan, which I've named Who is Spartan Theology. I've met him on the Discord. He has turned up, or they have turned up for an awful lot of my shows. I appreciate most of their conversations, but
write this down. So not this Sunday, but next Sunday.
If you look at my homepage, Christy, I put my live streams that are scheduled as the first thing you see.
Okay.
I have made my homepage as user-friendly as possible. All the things are in the description. I've got a new gaming channel as well. Not that I game, but I'm trying to get Forza 4. I'm hoping to get Forza. Do you know of Forza? Car driving game?
I don't know anything about any games. Maybe Connect 4, Uno.
Tekken? Tekken? Do you know Tekken? No? Fighting? Tekken?
No.
Oh, no. Yeah.
No. I don't own a video game. Not nor one.
Well, you see, this is the thing, right? I don't know if it's the same for you, but I was petrified. I enjoyed the chats, and I not that I was shocked, but Christy remembers me as Math Magic Pagan. I don't remember you having a show beforehand, though, Christy. You were just everywhere.
I was on the Wonder Lady, her channel. I did a 15-week series on This Is Our America. I started in 1900 and moved between 3 to 5 years each week throughout the century. And
that was on Wonder Ladies.
Yes, on Wonder Ladies.
Yeah, but Wonder Ladies only new to me as well. Well, not new to me, but after you.
Right.
I can't remember.
But I always saw you in the nighttime chats, like I don't all of them. I think I saw you quite a few times in Non Sequitur, and through there, many of the other ones that did after parties. A lot of the smaller channels, which I have a lot of fun with, who are in our community. Yeah, they're my favorite.
Yeah. Smaller channels are better.
I don't know. I love them. If I find a smaller channel that I like the people and I like the crowd, and it's okay if I disagree with them. That takes no precedence in if I like them or not.
Oh yeah, I don't go into it.
It's okay. Yeah. But if they're small, 600 or below, or 1,000 and below, even sometimes 2,000 and below, I just have so much fun, and I invite everybody. Hey, come over and hang out.
Yeah, no, that's it. If on my homepage as well, if you go to the first, there's a trailer, and it ends with after parties and community building. That is something I want to do here. I want to try and think of the biggest Venn diagram you've ever thought of. I'm in the middle, and that's the whole goal. I dip into loads of stuff. There was a person popped into my chat the other day that nobody in the community has ever heard of, called Nezlover, NEZ space LOVER. I have no idea what their policy is on anything, but I met them in a chat one night. They were good crack. They've got very little subscribers, and when they go live, they're just talking shit, and the video is on them painting a picture. And it's nice and relaxed. There's about 5 or 6 people in there. It's brilliant. Biblical history skeptics on a Sunday night.
Oh, I love biblical history skeptics.
Oh, I know, but do you know what's happened though in this last month? In this last month, it's went from like 5 viewers to like 15. It's like, I don't want to share, Brian. Fuck off. This used to be our little thing.
I get it. Yeah.
Fuck off. This is great. There's Sadie here and there's Sammy here and all. Just our little group of friends. We've all been sitting here naked for about an hour, and now we have to put clothes on because other people turn up. It's shit.
It's hard to share.
Yeah.
Especially when you're like, I'm going to go hang out with my friends. They live all over the planet, so I can't physically hang out with them. But in chats, I can hang out with them all the time.
Yes, that's
yeah, it's like Mr. Atheist. I remember when he got 270 subscribers. I remember when he got 300. It was a big deal. And now, like, what?
I followed Mr. Atheist when he had like 100 people in his Discord and less than 15,000 subscribers, but I don't know, there was a whole, not a fallout between me and Mr. Atheist, but I disagreed with the direction he was going, and I disagreed with some of the ways that things were happening, so I did leave that community, and I stayed sub till him for a good maybe 6 months after that, but
well, he did a new political channel.
Oh, I was subbed. Oh, The Line. Yeah, I watched it in Matt Dillahunty live. I watched about 40 minutes of it, yeah.
It's really good.
Oh, yeah, as soon as I seen that pop up, I subscribed straight away, which I thought was good. He'd close to 1,100 subscribers and not a single video, which actually broke Shannon Q's record. I don't know if anyone's noticed that or anyone
Shannon Q gets the trophy of everyone we've mentioned so far.
I'm afraid to ask Shannon Q for an interview because she is Shannon Q.
Give you an interview.
Well, you see, this is the thing, right? Richard's been trying. I don't know if you know that I do that show with Richard. You were tweeting me on Thursday, and I'm supposed to be listening to him do the Book of Enoch, and I'm like, fucking shit, hold on, Christy's tweeting me here, hold on. Oh yes, that guy. Yep, totally, man. Totally, yeah.
It's super.
But Richard's got Shannon Q
I
on.
will tell him that it was my fault. I'll take the blame for it.
No, he knows. Richard's like a brother to me. It's grand. He's weird and thinks God was an alien and heaven is a spaceship, but I love Richard.
Okay. My mom did not grow up thinking that. We grew up in church. I went to like Temple Christian Academy, same private school that Seth Andrews went to. Different, state, but same but different. Yeah. Well, now that she's older and has said these exact words to me, I don't believe in God anymore. I don't have any beliefs in that, but I'll never be an atheist. It's a different time period. So atheist has all these bad things attached to it for her generation. And also, my mom has cable, which brings her the Science Channel and the History Channel, which we know aren't scientific or historical. They're entertainment. So my mom has a theory that the way that Noah actually got all the animals on the ark was DNA. Because of science. And I'm just like...
Oh, you should definitely come and talk to Richard. Yeah, I'll swap your details for him swapping Shannon Q's details. And that'll be the swap. One nice lady for another nice lady.
Great conversation. I mean, the thing is we don't know. But we do know that never happened.
You see, this is the thing that I love about Richard, right? Richard's only newish to the community, something similar to less than me, but I'm only 2 years.
I've been to him since the first conversation we had in a chat room. I thought, I like talking
but
to him.
That man has spent 7 years researching that. He spent an entire year eating food off plates he found and smoking cigarette butts out of ashtrays, living on nothing, and every day in a park telling people about his ideas and being questioned live. He has researched everything and backed his backups with backups with backups with backups to the point that when you go and look about something that he hasn't looked up, it fucking stands up,
Yeah, he's convicted. His convictions are you don't get that I can't talk to this guy. You don't get that. You get well, tell me more.
Yes.
How do you do this? It's very interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to know, tell me more that much. I started a weekly show with him, and just as an excuse to hang out with him. He is such a good crowd. I think we have good banter as well. We get on well together, and he is genuinely funny.
People are hard to find, and I think that he is definitely one of them. I was very happy to see that you were doing a show with him. Very happy.
Oh yeah, he's like my internet brother. Honest to goodness, I absolutely love the bones of that man. I was in an old bookshop. Oh yeah,
Mac is my brother from another mother for sure.
I went in an old bookshop and I was looking. I wanted to find, because I know that he reads. Now I'm gonna get this fucking right. He reads a mid 16th century King James version. That's his favorite Bible. So I was looking to see if I could get a Bible that's really, really old. So I went to this old bookshop, that, if you'd have seen this place, you're tripping over books. The shelves are bending with the weight of
books. Those are the best. It smells like moldy pages. Those are my favorite bookstores. Just drop me off and pick me up later.
I spent a full hour in there. The guy was an ex-Jehovah's Witness and all. We had a whole conversation and everything. It was fantastic.
You're like
fun.
Me. You talk to people everywhere you go.
Oh yeah, everywhere I go.
Okay, so tell me about this bookstore.
I went into the bookstore looking for an old Bible. Couldn't find an old Bible older than 1950s, and they're all New Testament only. And then I found this old box in the corner, and in the box in the corner there was a concordance. Do you know what a concordance is?
No. What is that?
A concordance is a book that goes through every word in the Bible and gives you the meaning, the description, and where it was used.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yes, and one of the biggest ones is the Crudent Concordance. And I found one...
I've heard of that.
Yes.
I don't know what it is.
Well, okay. I found one which is in maybe not the best of condition, but it's from 1869. And now the bind it's been rebound with partial tape. It has been rebound with partial tape, but it's one of them real old books that is about a foot long and half a foot wide and maybe 3 inches thick. I checked the postage to send it to Richard. It's going to cost me 6 times the price of the book to send it to him.
I bet it weighs like a small child.
Where's a fucking ton? But it's things like, it's because Richard is such a decent, genuine person. He sent me a random message about 3 days ago at about 4 a.m. my time. Just a random message, ... just letting you know that you're appreciated. Talk to you later. Like, who the fuck does that?
Yeah, it's important to do that. It really is.
Right. Well, on that note, I'm going to go for another couple of minutes, and then we're going to open it up to everyone else. Yeah, we'll open it up to everybody else if they want to join. I've put the link in the description. Don't leave us hanging. Come on, IQ, I know you're out there. Sammy, I know you're out there.
Look in the chat.
Yeah.
Shannon Q likes the tweet I tweeted on Twitter about this stream.
I don't know what tweet you tweeted about this. I'm not going to open other tabs because I'm screen sharing.
Okay, it's Brant. And all it says is Shannon Q likes the tweet I tweeted on Twitter of this stream. It's very Dr. Seuss, Brant. Thanks.
I do want to get more women on. I have been having more women on lately, but I felt like up until Christmas, I had an awful lot of male guests.
Right.
And I don't want
to switch it up.
Oh, no. Well, we're doing well. I think Scientist Male was my first one. And then, I don't know, you should look back at my videos for New Year's Eve. I did Quiplash for New Year's Eve. And everybody in the LGBT community ended up in my StreamYards. And then they ended up... Oh, I called it Quiplash, then Mathpig's Big Gay Stream. They took over my channel, and it went for like...
I saw that. I saw the title of it go by. I was like, what?
Yeah, and after that, everybody seems, oh no, just because he's a cis white male, it's okay. We can go talk to him.
It's fine.
It's fine. So, I've started to get more women on. We had Holy Spackle on, and we've had yourself on.
A ginger cis white male. Mm-hmm. With an accent.
I don't have an accent.
Okay.
Stay away from me, Lucky Charms. Stay away from me, Lucky Charms.
Aw, that's adorable. I would have never made you say that. But now that I might make you say it.
Okay, I don't even mind talking I can talk in an Irish accent if you really want.
I love the way you refer to your daughter, my wee.
Oh, she's my wean. She is my wean. I used to refer, whenever she was the baby, I used to call her the child. Up until the point where I was getting slapped in the back of the... Oh, my woman hated that. Absolutely hated that. She would just slap me in the back of the head. She's not the child, she has a name. Sorry.
That's adorable. Well, I mean, she is a child. She's your child.
Yeah.
She's a child in your life. But my wee girl, it just makes my heart... It's adorable.
Do you want to say... Right. Okay, everybody knows I'm a daddy with pictures and all that crack, but this nearly broke my heart about 3 weeks ago, okay? I was sitting at the computer desk, because we were in the living room eating our dinner, and there's the coffee table, and the daughter and the girlfriend were sitting at the coffee table eating the dinner. And
okay.
I had the sofas moving around with the house being done up and the living room being done up, and it was easier for me to sit at the computer desk in the corner of the living room. And I drink a lot of milk. You know, I love my milk. No, yeah. I could easily drink 2 litres of full fat milk a day. No bother, right? And I'm drinking my pint of milk with my dinner. And I finished my milk before it, right? And there was a little tiny dribble left at the end, just that I'd finished my dinner. And I tipped the glass up and right up in the air and took the last wee dribble of milk out. Set it down. And then the daughter got up. And even if we finish our dinner before she does, we won't take our plates out. Because the moment you take our plates out, she's done as well. So we'll sit there for the 10 minutes, you know, if it takes her that wee bit longer, because she'll continue to eat. And she got up off the coffee table and went to walk away. And my woman turned around and she was like, you know, come back here, finish your dinner. And she walked round and she lifted her glass of milk and come over and poured it into my glass of milk. And she went, Daddy needs milk. And went back over and sat back down again.
She can have whatever she wants for the rest of her life. That was adorable.
She had, now we would always have a non-spill cup in the living room with juice in it. And she went and then lifted her juice and took her juice over and used it to finish her dinner, rather than taking her milk. And she always gets milk with her dinner. But she gave her milk to Daddy. Which I'm a big scary man with a beard and a bald head. I fucking cried. That broke my heart. I'm about
to cry right now.
That broke my fucking heart.
Sweet. She was thinking about her daddy and what he needed, not about herself.
I didn't need any more. I'd finished my dinner. I was just getting the last wee bit of the milk out. But then it was not like I couldn't drink it. I had to drink it. But yeah, oh no, she is so cute and so nice. She is so polite. She says please and thank you to strangers. You know, it's I hate going to the child's play parks because kids are insane. You know them play.
Yes, they are.
But I don't mind going with my wee girl because whenever I say to her it's time to leave, she comes over. If she's stepping out and some other parent helps her out, she says thank you. And the look on some parents' faces as if to say, holy fuck, you have a 3-year-old that said please and thank you. It's like, yeah, she's fantastic. Thank you. Yeah.
And I'll keep her thank you.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny how much this tiny little human, like, and it sounds cliche to say if you're not a parent, you can imagine, but you don't know. It's not possible to love another little human as much as you do. Your heart will burst open if you think about it and just blow up. Like there are no words for a parent and their child. At least for me, and obviously for you, and for every parent I've ever talked to,
I used to hate
that little face.
See, before mobile phones, when they had fathers that would come out with their wallets with 20 pictures of their child, I would be so bored. Yes, all babies look the fucking same. They all look the same. Now, see if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, oh, no. I have a picture of my wee girl at 3 days. She's never been baby-faced. She looked completely different than all babies from the get-go. Oh, by the way, have you seen the 25,000 photos? Because I've now a mobile phone. Do you want to see my entire weekend? Oh, I'm worse than them cunts with the wallets. They were limited to 5 or 6 pictures. I have a mobile phone with fucking 20 gig. Look at thousands of pictures. But right, I have put the link in the chat. People, get your ass in here, okay? We're going to close it down now. I'm sure that fucking Christy needs to go have a smoke, go to the toilet. My dog is giving me the stink eye. And,
I've got a bean too.
Yeah, so the link's in the chat. If you're in my Discord, if you're not, the link's also in the description. There is a channel in my Discord called Links for After Parties. The link's been in there this hour. Just jump in, join, hit the button, get your arse in here, and we'll see you all back in about 15 minutes. All right. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely. It was a blast. Anytime. And we'll make sure to get you over on Leah, where you got to stay humanist for God's sake every day, you know?
Yeah, just to do it at a decent time.
Right. Well, that's for guests who can't do it on our time. We'll record it anytime's convenient for you and then just premiere it, which is a lot of fun for Mac and I, because then we get to actually participate in the chat.
Yeah, but I live off the live. I love the live.
Yeah,
we have to do it live. Anyway, everybody, thank you very much for coming. We'll see you back here in about 15 minutes. Get your asses in here, regulars.